I'm Tamara Caulder Richardson. I am the Southern Belle Medium. I'm a 6-time near-death experiencer and evidential psychic medium, a spiritual teacher, and also an afterlife and inspirational teacher. So I have been doing a lot of thinking this week and talking to people, and I just don't like to see people sad in this state. So I wanted to do something positive. I've been in a lot of prayer and meditation and came up with this topic that felt very fitting, was electing love, joy, and prosperity. Here's the thing. There's been a lot of tension lately, and it's not just the election, it's the pandemic. People are still concerned about that. We're not really talking about it, but we really don't know what's going to happen with that. We don't, if we have a cure, when's it going to be? How long is it going to last? I was talking to my doctor when I went to my annual, and he said, look, we don't know how long it's going to cover you for. We don't know. There's so many variables and it's already mutated. So that's stressful, right? And then even as far as, how we're doing things, we're not in a normal way. We're used to having our habits and like going to the gym. I want to go back to the gym. So I'm online, and I actually registered some things next week so I can go and, they have you separated so you can be in certain parts. So I'm going to start back with the initially yoga to stretching. I used to do, weightlifting heavily and for years, bodybuilding. I really like that, but I am not ready for that. So we're going to start with stretching and then treadmill and light weights, and then I'll go back to the bodybuilding. But it's just, you have to consider this because it's still contagious. And I asked, you have to wear your mask, because I think, how in the world can you wear a mask and you're sweating? I mean, it's bad enough as it is if you can barely breathe because you're working out. So I talked to my trainer, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. It's big enough. They're working it out. It's fine. So I'm trying that. But again, our natural, normal schedule is just so off. And then, people worried about their jobs. They're worried about money. Right. I'm just stating the situation. Okay. It's going to get great from here. But I just want to acknowledge people have been through a lot. And I think we should acknowledge that you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I'm human. If you live here, and it's affecting us differently. And people that have their kids at home, or their wife or their husband at home, being with someone 24/7, that's also, and working from home, is also difficult on a lot of people. That's why some people are like, Lord, please take my children back, get them back to school. God, please help us, because they gotta, they don't have any free time. They're always busy with their family responsibilities. And then there's layoffs. There's some people even in my family that are being laid off. I mean, knock on wood, there's even layoffs with, my husband's work, who, we'll see. Nobody knows, you could be doing great. Nobody knows. So that I think it's in times of uncertainty, and it's not normal to us. And I just want to acknowledge that, not to mention, people that are upset in words or actions, like, with the riots we've seen, or just people being mean to one another. And it's just almost too much to bear. And then now this election stuff, heck, my own mom we're not even talking. She lives a mile down the road. This is not normal. And it made me realize, why are we here? We're here to be an expression of love. And it doesn't really look like it right now. So, I sat down the other night, I guess it was a couple nights ago or whatever it was, after the election. And then that morning, people were, had people calling me, and they're, confused or upset on both sides, and I realized that this is just one more thing of stuff we've been dealing with. And people are discouraged. They have this sense of, what's going to happen. So I decided, because I was like, I was really not in a good way, because I'm trying to figure these things out, and I wasn't really sure myself. So, I decided I needed some God time. But before I did that, I had to go to the grocery store. Feeling cabin fever. Absolutely. And so I was going to, just a couple of days, I had to go to the grocery store like people do. And of course, I always wear my mask wherever I go and so forth, because, it's an easy solution for right now, right? And I got the ones with the bling bling and all, so I'm happy with that. So anyhow, I was talking to God and I said, God, I don't want to not love your people. I want to have hope and faith in humanity. And I want to love people again. I don't want to be disgusted with them. Like they're doing crazy stuff, like showing their butt, and I'm like, and they're angry and they're just, I'm just so disappointed. And I said, God, I don't want to be that person. I want to have hope and I want to give other people hope. So when I was running, I had to run a couple errands. I had to get a tag for my husband's car, and God started working with me right then. And I went into this little teeny small place. We're in like a little teeny country suburb, even though we're near a big city in Charlotte, North Carolina. And there was a guy there that owned the place. He came out, he was very happy. And I saw like some magazines and I saw 3 old Bibles. They were very old, they're like falling apart. And then he was like so friendly and kind. I saw needed help. And I immediately knew, you're like, how do you know? I'm a psychic medium. I felt, and you can feel that with people. I felt this guy struggling to keep his business. And yet he was so kind and humble and friendly to me. And I saw God in him. I did. And I thought he's just a good, regular, good old guy, And then I was like, he's got it worse than me. He's trying not to let down what people that work there. And I'm thinking about all the small businesses that so many have had to go out of business. And I'm sure even in your area too, that you've seen that as well. So then I go to the grocery store because I had to get a couple things at the grocery store. And, I'm trying to cope, not being upset because I got to run errands. And I come back to the car. And before I go back to the car, there was a guy that was in the store that worked there. And he was a big old fellow, kind of like Fat Albert. I know I'm not being funny. He really did. He was big. But I think he's like, oh, hey, I like your tennis shoes. I had white tennis shoes. And I'm like, yeah, you can't find white tennis shoes. They're Pumas. And he goes, what are they? And he goes, are they Adidas? I'm like, no, Pumas. And at first I thought, is this guy, what's his motive? Is he hitting on me? And he was just kind. And I think he might have been mentally challenged. Not that someone has to be mentally challenged to talk to me, but that he was a little slow. I don't know what the proper word is. And I realized that he was innocent. He was just an innocent person. And he just wanted to talk to another human being. And we said a couple funny things. Yeah, and blah, blah, blah. And he says, I like black tennis shoes. I'm like, well, you're just probably trying to be macho. He goes, you're right. I might be. And he was so innocent. He just smiled with the dimples. And I could see God in him. So I'm shaking my head going, there's a lot of good people out there. It's just been horrible. So I got to tell you this. This is just something wow. Okay. So I go to my car with the groceries. I put them in on the passenger side. Okay. And I go to my car and I see this. I don't know if you can see it because it's green and I got a green screen. So I don't know. Anyway, it has a thing. It's just some really cheap little carnation flowers. Okay. The green screen's doing weird things, and it says here, I saw it like in my car door, in the side. And I'm like, what is this? There was nobody. I think I was like one of 3 cars in the parking lot because it was like 9:30 at night. Like, who's out here? And it says here, and now these 3 remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love, 1 Corinthians 13:13. And God answered me. Jesus gave me a flower. He loves flowers. He shows up in readings all the time. He always talks about flowers. People are flowers. He loves different colored flowers. But the fact, I don't know where this came from, but I know that God pressed upon someone to give this to me just to talk about its love. And that's what it is. And, if we have misemotion going on and so forth, it's not normal. It's not right. Now, yeah, we need to be kind to ourselves because we're going through a lot right now. But we need to have love for ourselves and love for each other because there's still goodness in people. And I don't want us to give up, there is still so much hope and still so much opportunities for us. And we're just going through a rough spell. That's all. And I think that we complicate things. So I know, isn't that a sweet idea to give a flower? I've never had anything like that happen. And I was literally talking to God all day, like, I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be negative. And then now they're saying that that, that could be the elections fraudulent. And I'm like, I'm just, I don't, I said, God, I can't figure out this world. I just can't figure it out. And then he began to talk to me, but it wasn't till later. I stayed up. My husband went to sleep. And so that night I was like, I can't sleep while I go to bed. So I had candles. Well, they were really not candles. They were less the kind you turn on with a battery because I'm afraid fires. And I turned those on, and I had some essential oils going, and it was very peaceful, and I had very angelic music, and I sat on the sofa, and I had my two Shih Tzus that were snoring, so that was peaceful. And I started going through and just expressing my concerns and upsets, and I started getting information, and I also felt like my hand was being held the whole time, which that was really crazy because I was like, I felt like weight on it and being held. And what I heard is that we have, and it was very quick telepathy, much like what I get from, when I get with my readings, but with my, medium readings. Now I work with the ones in heaven, the higher level, which they're higher level than us. They're not dead. And they're in that realm of the angel realm, the Jesus realm, that realm, okay, where the elders are. Hey, Shell, how are you? Hey, sweetheart. And so, this is important for all of us. So I got a message, and the message was I didn't want to give up on hope in people, because I was seeing that day God and all different kinds of people. I was seeing God in their eyes. And I thought there's beauty in people, and there were simple people, like the one guy. This is the big kind of heavy guy, and he had the super kind of young fella. I can't really tell age sometimes, 18 to 25, and he was just innocent and sweet. He just wanted to say hey. And then the older guy that had the inspection place, he was just, and they were just making human contact. They had no ulterior motive except for kindness. And God said to me, he said that we have complicated things way beyond we needed to. He said that, despite what we see around us, he said, despite the destruction we see around us. And you think, what destruction? Well, I don't know, destructive words, destructive things. People get angry, I say, show your butt here, I'm like, okay, can't you communicate better than that? But whatever we're seeing that displeases us, that's not in a love flow. He said that despite the destruction that you see, your land will prosper. And he began to say that we had favor as a people with him. And he said to trust and take refuge in my love. And he said that he has to correct some things, but all would be well. And I was like, okay. So I had to think about that. I didn't really know about all that at that time, but he was assuring me. And he said that we're here mainly for one reason, and that is, I know, right? That is to love. And that's why I say elect love. We can choose to see the God in people and to love them. I have to tell you, I saw it. I did a show in Little Rock, Arkansas, not too long ago. Which I really was kind of strange. I was like, oh, should I go? I don't know if it was in August. I can't remember right now. It was just for 2 or 3 days. And I was doing a medium demonstration. It was at a women's expo. I do a lot of those because I get to meet a lot of nice people. And, we didn't have the turnout like it normally would, but, I still met some incredible people. And the people in the hotel were amazing. And what was really unusual, this is a crazy, crazy story. So I'm in the hotel. I got my cousin Nicole with me. And then the people that were running this women's expo, there's 4 of them. There's 2 ladies, 2 guys. And, I guess they're 40s to 60s kind of range. They were really nice. We went out to eat with them every night because I don't know anything about Little Rock. Little Rock's very rural. I don't really know much about it. But it's a very predominant, African-American, I guess, demographic. We were in a hotel. So so I got to talk to, which is awesome to me. I mean, I'm from the South, but I got to meet the nicest people, and I got to go, heart to head. I got to go with people all in the hotel. We talked. I talked in the cafeteria. I had these women that were just feeding me, here, honey, and they give me and they get charged me. I don't know why, for the buffet. They just come give me food, and I would talk to them, and they would say, we're just one race under, the human race, God. I'm like, yeah, and they We're talking, about, they're upset and disgust with the pandemic, and just incredible people. But what was really cool, is that there that I thought was really kind of interesting, in that hotel. It was just a Holiday Inn, nothing fancy. In the hotel, they had, get this, policemen. They were federal agents were teaching top level policemen to go through this very extraneous uh, program. It was like 8 weeks. So they had already been there like 3.5 weeks. And we would see them coming in and out. And sometimes people like, thank you for being of service. But these guys look beat down. I mean, these guys they were from all over the U.S. They look beat down. Yeah, I know you got to acknowledge the first line people out there, because I certainly wouldn't want to do that. So God bless the police and any service worker or any hospital worker or any of that. And so they look beat down, and when we clap, they just look like, yeah. And some were older, some were younger. And so one day I went to the cafeterias where they had different food on the menu every night. And then they would serve you, you'd tell them what you'd want. And there was a big, huge, he was, good Lord, he was probably 6'5", just a big old dude, he kind of looked like a Viking dude with short hair. And he's like sitting at the table, and the guy said, "Oh, Tamara, this is, he's training all these guys." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, he lost his son." I said, "I'm so sorry." So I sat at another table beside him and ended up talking to this federal agent for 2 hours. And it's funny how God will put people in your life. And this federal agent began to tell me, people hate us. They don't like us. We can't do our job. I just want to protect people. But they really hate. And the guy, he's supposed to be like a tough guy. I'm nobody, And he just starts, he's like in tears. So we talk about his son. And I had a message from his son and told him that he was a hero. I said, he likes speed, huh? And he goes, yeah, he did. And we went through some stuff, and he said, "Look, don't keep those clothes." He goes, "I've kept the bloody clothes when he was in a car accident. Someone hit him." I was like, yeah, he didn't want that. He wants you to move on because he's in a good place. He loves you so much and proud of you. And I said, "Look, we count on you. Regular people don't want to deal with this stuff out here. I'm be honest. Do I agree with you? Do y'all want to go out there and be like Annie Oakley or I don't know, go out there and, quit McGraw?" And I don't. And so I said, "No, this is you serve a very important purpose for people." I know he was crying. It was just, this guy's a big deal. And and we talk like people, not like he was a real important high up, but just like people. And I realized that everybody's hurting. And the fact is, you think about communication, and you think about communication even with like a relationship, like a marriage or whatever it is, or friendship. You don't always agree. And sometimes, you might say the wrong things. They may say the wrong things, but you have kindness and forgiveness in your heart. Yeah, maybe not immediately. Maybe you're like, man, I should have said that. Or they, but we're not doing that. And we should do that. A very smart guy one time said that we should treat each other like our neighbors, like our family, and treat each other the way we want to be treated. I'm talking about Jesus, but we should. And that's not happening. And I don't feel that we're that different. I know that when you cross over in the heaven realm, that there's only one language and one vibration, and that's love. And it's much higher than anything here. It's like if you took all the people you loved ever, put them in a room, and they were all doting on you, it would not be even close. So we can learn from that. So getting back, I'm looking at the God in people, and that was an example that I saw too. And one of the things I want us to really examine ourselves, because only we can be responsible. Only we can be in control of ourselves. We can't control, other people, but we can control how we interact with people and what we choose to think about things. Yeah, he did. Thanks, Colleen. He did. Yeah. It was tender. It was like a tender conversation. It was like he almost turned into like just a little sweet child almost. And he was just vulnerable and humble. And I learned something from that. And even you would think this big old cop, what am I, 5'2", um, and it's about being kindness. And I think about times that we've been kind, and this will come up in our life review. I'm just going to say it. If we show our ass, it's going to show up in our life review. God sees all. I'm telling you what. Now, he's not going to judge, but you're going to be so embarrassed. Meaning, judge, you're going to judge. You're going to go, oh my God, I feel horrible about that. Oh, I feel how they felt, how their family felt, how it affected people. It was not a good thing. You're going to be embarrassed. So, we can work on things now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't get out of this stuff. So we need to stop and we need to admit, where we are. Okay. We're here. Great. And then we're going to choose a better way because we've got to get out of it. But there has to be a few of us that decide that we are going to choose love. We are going to choose to be kind. We are going to choose humanity, despite the situation, despite if there is a hurricane or a tornado or a freaking pandemic or, election brouhaha or whatever. We're still eternal spiritual beings. We're still here. We should not let things get to us, and we are. And I'm saying that because of me. And I'm like, whoa, that's it. I'm putting the stops on this. I can't deal with this. If that means you have to turn off your TV and turn on God, that's what I did. I sat there. I said, I'm sitting here and I'm not moving till you come show up. I'm demanding. I'm a fussy thing. It's a wonder they have anything to do with me. But the other thing is what's stopping us from our joy. We already named a bunch of stuff, right? But now that we recognize that and we're deciding we're not going to let that affect us. If we feel it affecting us, then we're going to turn off the TV. If we have a friend or someone who likes to aggravate the situation, don't talk to them. Say, oh yeah, I'm busy, whatever. And so, what can we do to give ourselves joy? God put us here, but it's our responsibility to create the joy in our life. So I think it's back. Remember when I was getting the message from God, Jesus, my angels, about we overcomplicate things, and He said some things need to be handled, and He said, but that we have pleased Him by humbling ourselves, and that He was going to allow our land to prosper. And I was like, okay, I was like at the time, like, let me soak this in. But we need to think about keeping ourselves positive and keeping ourselves in a humble state, an appreciative state. And that'll get us out of the fear. That'll get us out of the anxiety. That'll get us out of the turmoil, the panic mode. If someone panics you, just limit your communication with them. Yeah. Can I hear amen? Yeah. Yes, we have to behave. Well, think about it. Do you not realize that a lot of people out there, they don't act like grown-ups. They act like little, spoiled children sometimes. And it's embarrassing. You would think that we'd be, past that, but I guess not. So, going out and practicing as an example. Yeah, Colleen, that is a good idea. But I'm just talking about for our mental health. Let's start with ourselves right now and what we need, and acknowledge when we're getting upset to ourselves, and then stop. And I told my husband, we made an agreement. I said, if you get upset or I get upset, we're stopping, we're turning the TV off, we're doing, whatever we need to do. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and just you can, write in the thing if you want to, in the chat, but what is it that you feel is stopping you from joy? And I'm going to give you a couple examples, but doesn't mean it's it. Is it self-worth? Maybe you don't think you're worth joy. Okay. That's a common one. That's why I say that. I don't care if you're, a gazillionaire. Most people feel that way, deep below, unless you generally, a lot of people feel that way. That comes up a lot in readings. The other thing would be, do you have a martyr complex? Do you feel like that you need to suffer? You need to suffer for God. Some people, I had a lot of people do that, a lot of healers, and you don't. You're perfect just the way you are. You do not need to suffer. Jesus already done did that. Seriously, you don't, you know, we will suffer just by being here and witnessing and seeing things. When you turn on the TV and see an accident or someone died, that's upsetting. So there is going to be some, but we don't need to bring on any extra. Okay. And then placing value on others so much that we ignore ourselves. That's a big one with women in particular. So what is your thing that you think that's stopping you? And then why would that be? Because God thinks we're perfect, even with all our imperfections. So to me, it's just being spiritually mature to say, okay, God loves me. What is it that's stopping me, and what is increasing um, that feeling? Do you get more of that feeling when you're with someone? Do you feel less worthy? Then you need to acknowledge that. And we're talking boundaries, and that's a whole different thing. I want to do a whole thing on boundaries and about judgment, not you judging people. Oh no one ever talks about this, but people judging you and your decisions and invalidating you, and boundaries. So we're going to talk about that. That's another time. What do you think about that? I thought a lot of people might like that one. So getting back, it's up to us to find our own joy and to own our own life and to own where we are, good or bad. So it's really about just being kind of a grown up, being responsible. And I think it's the little things that do give us joy. But I think that, like what I did the other night I just didn't meditate. I got quiet first. Let's say that I got quiet. How did I do it? I got quiet and I got still. And I worked on my breathing, and I began to feel the room. And then I began to feel like my body, and then my breath and breathing. And then I just said, okay, God, here it is. What do you think? What are you going to do? I don't know. Don't have the answers. And how do you want me to be about this? And then when you surrender, because I surrendered, like, I don't have the answers, God, and don't have the answers. Then there's a surrender. There's a sweetness to that. When you're in front of your creator, when you surrender and say, look, feel me, give me that information. That's supernatural. That's some cool stuff. It will happen. That's why I believe anyone that's connected truly to God, and that's our birthright. We actually all are. People will listen. And there are people more connected than others, because some people don't want to listen. They don't want to take the time. Some people are just not nice. They're not interested in that. But that is our birthright. That's where we're from. But to surrender to God and you merging together, co-creating, and your own, for your own highest good. Fear of rejection. Yes. Yeah, there are some bad guys. You don't want to tell them, what is it? I just want to tell them I love them. Well, some people can be dangerous like that. There's some people that aren't safe, and I don't mean physically, maybe true in that, but there could be also some people that, they don't have the spiritual ears to hear it. Okay. But what you can do is you can still, that's what I pray for people. God, I don't know what they need, but they're pretty angry. Can you send some angels to them? Can you help them out? Because you think, who else is going to pray for someone who's a jerk? Like, I don't know what they need. I don't know what they need, but can you help them? Because they're obviously, can you imagine being a very angry person? It'd be horrible to live with yourself. So I feel sorry for them. So going back, about your highest good. I also want to talk about reflection and looking back. During this time, we're coping with so much crap, right? Amen to that we don't want to, reflecting is healthy and to this degree. If you reflect and you go, wow, you look at your past and you go, I've come a long way. I'm here. How do you want to improve yourself? Good. But if you get into it where you're stuck in the past, then it's like this. It's kind of like being on an elevator. And instead of going up to the 10th floor, you go down to the 5, and then you go up to the 7, and then you go back to 2. You never really make gains. So you want to be in the present moment, even if the present moment sort of sucks. I saw a t-shirt that said 2020 and they were giving a rating like Yelp, And I think one star, wouldn't recommend. Look, at least we are in this together. We should at least try to be kind. Um, yeah, I agree. That's beautiful. I agree. I do that all the time. I don't know what everybody needs. I don't even know what I need. Do you know what you need all the time? Do you really know what you need? I don't think we all know what we truly, truly need. We think we pray sometimes what we think we need. I need a new Lexus. I'm just kidding. I don't have a Lexus, but you know what I mean. I need this. I need that. I need a man. But really, we don't know truly. We want seek it out. But that's why it's important, I think, when you pray, to pray to thy will be done, meaning God's will, because God's will, he sees it all. He knows what's going to truly, truly make you happy, more than we do. Because I've had surprises in life and go, wow, who knew that I wanted to go this direction, but now I'm going here. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. There's a lot of people that are having to readjust to being online and having to learn things. And it's good news in a lot of ways, but other ways are you're having to relearn things, and even careers. A lot of people, even just like with us, we have a new. Despite the spirit interaction in the beginning, we have all new mics and all new video production cameras, and then we have a 38-inch monitor that we've got to set up after this. And so, and then learning the streaming and learning all this. But you know what? Even with technical difficulties, thank you for, hanging in there. It's you push through it. And so, I want to acknowledge that too. So, it's how you choose to look at this. And again, we want to look back at making things simple and what also makes us happy. I want to talk about the things that actually make you happy. What is it? Go ahead and write it in the thing. What is it that makes you happy? Truly, truly. It's going to be something super simple, by the way. What is it? I'm curious. Okay. All right. Yeah, I used to do it my way back for years. I mean, I didn't always come out and go, God, Jesus, the angels. No, I didn't. And I did it my way. And I was, advertising executive in my own business, and I did it my own way. It was nice, but now my marketing plan is I'm gonna wait till you tell me. And seriously, it works a lot better because I can get insights from God's point of view that I couldn't get. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, let me tell you something about that. That's your grounding. And I want to talk about that too. Thanks for bringing that up, Colleen. Okay, me too. Me too. You're a little earth angel. I told you, now people are going to seek you out, but you have very holiness and purity about you. And so people naturally gravitate to you. So you want to give. So, right, you give from your heart center, right? You give. So what you're doing, you're literally giving your energy. Got a better way. Why don't you connect from, instead of this way, I feel so sorry for them, be outside of yourself. I have like a God bubble, and it's visualize a beautiful, big, like an egg around me, but it's a white light. And then I visualize a bright white light, the kind of the one in the NDEs, right? Yeah. So, and it comes through my top chakra, and then it goes out through my heart. So I'm getting my source from God, and I don't stay as drained. That's going to make a huge difference for you. If you feel drained again, it's because the person is actually draining you. And then we get into whole boundaries. So, and then there's groundings. What I'm going to be teaching meditation on grounding and how you can kind of protect your energy. That's part of the boundaries class and so forth. And I'm going to be teaching too. Yeah, my dogs make me happy too. So, what makes me happy? I'll give you some examples. So my dogs, I love my two Shih Tzus, especially Tucker. Not that I'm partial, Tucky boy. And because he's just he's like a little hairy fat. He's like a pig. He snorts everywhere, but I've always had skinny dogs. From now on, I'm going to get fat dogs because he's just so cushy, like a teddy bear. But just petting on him and watching him, and he does stuff, it just makes me laugh. He just makes me laugh. The other thing is going outside and literally grounding, getting back to grounding, is putting your feet in the grass. We have a swing outside, and I just put my feet in the grass. I look at the trees and I get still. And then all of a sudden, nature becomes very loud. You go, wow, it's loud out here. You hear the birds, you hear the crickets, you hear everything. So that's one way to also ground, to make you feel connected. And it's something that we have to make a conscious effort, kind of like flossing, to do that. They say go hug a tree. It's absolutely true. If we have this tree, it's so old, it's like 200 something years old, and we literally, if you step on the roots, it will ground you. But your energy, that is a living entity from God. This amazing tree. I have turned it into the hippie tree person. It's true. And if you step on the roots, it's just like you're that energy, that the stories that tree could tell, and you step on it and it's just connected to your energy, which is a living entity. It's very powerful, and it does ground you. I still cry over, my grandparents had a tree when they sold the lot. There was an amazing tree. Gosh, might have been way over 200 years old, maybe 300, and they cut it down. I'm thinking, this thing saw so many things, so much history, and I still cry over that tree being gone. But nature. And yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's okay. God bless you for volunteering with animals. And yes, it's great. But if you can do it, God bless you. But I'd want to take them all home. I mean, seriously, it would be hard for me. Oh, I love this. This is beautiful. Laid in the grass to imagine how each blade worships Jesus. Yeah. When I was in heaven and I was walking with Jesus, and one of my NDEs, I guess the worst one when I died of pneumonia, they do. The grass, the blades, every flower, every petal, every cloud follows him. Everything is just, and it's vibrating. It's him. It's like vibrating at that level. So yeah, it's sad. Yeah, they took the big tree down. Dogwood. This was a hickory tree, and it's yeah, that was tough. But going back, the dogs, yeah, and the cats. I'm sorry about your cat. I have a sign above my sofa that says that heaven is a place that we'll see all our animals we ever have. And it's true. The animals come through in readings all the time, but look, my little Tucky, he's terminal. He's got a heart condition. We believe how much money we spend on this dog. He's like an old man, but he's not that old. He's only like 7 years old, but we spend so much money to keep him alive, and, it's well worth it. All right. So think about what gives you joy. For me, sometimes I like sewing. Sometimes I like creating jewelry. I like bodybuilding. I like martial arts when we do, some people like gardening. Some people like cooking. And really the simple pleasures. And the other thing is that what people don't do enough of is dancing. My husband, I'm going to tell on us, we used to do this, and we need to do this again. His work has been very stressful, but we would have on the weekend at some point, we'd have a dance off, and we would do like a Soul Train line, and we'd have a dance off, but they were like really bad dances, and we were really horrible. It was really funny. And we would laugh. We could do like the stupidest dance. So, but just anything to make you laugh. And you think, when is the last time we really laughed? And when you really looked in someone's eyes and really saw God, because they're in there, people are there. They are a reflection of God. They are a mirror. So despite the circumstances, we can create a better future, but we need to think and be still. We need to ground, we need to breathe. And then once we're in a state like that, we become more peaceful instead of anxiety. And then we can start to create. Not only I recommend doing create hobbies, because that gets you in the create mode. And then from there, you can start creating your life. But I think you have to physically see. That's why children like to draw and color. And they go, look what I did, mommy or daddy. It's because they are seeing their creation. So I think that if you go build a birdhouse, or if you go whatever it is, that you could. My husband's putting new installation, but that's something it's going to look good, but it's going to, well, if you're under the house, but it's going to also, you feel it immediately. But if you can see something like a good meal that you're going to make lasagna or something, so anyhow, going back, think about what you can do to kind of get you out of your rut with something creative and fun. Maybe it's updating your wardrobe. I don't know. And then you can start creating your life. But it's really about laughter. And also taking that God time, I say God time, instead of just handling stuff or going through the motions of what you got to do during the day, is set out time for you to just like I demand, I'm going to sit here until I'm peaceful until you show up. And it worked. It was great. So it really changed. I woke up the next day and I was happy because, there can be joy despite, suffering and problems. There still can be a joy that God gives that everybody, once they cross over in that state, once they're in heaven, in that realm, that they do feel. So stop and think just right now, when is the last time that you really had fun? Let's see here. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Love, peace, and harmony. But I'm trying to give little tips how to get there because it's not that easy, right? So you recognize what we're going through. It's a bunch of stuff. Give yourself a break. Okay. If there's someone negative, don't be around them or cut it. Okay, see you later. Really control that. The other thing is do things around that make you happy, whether it's cook, whatever. Some people like cleaning, whatever. But whatever your thing is that you like to do to get you out of that. And not to be a victim to like, well, this is happening, that's happening. No, you have to take care of this is spiritual maturity. This is being a grown up. You have to take care of when you feel like it's too much and you need to have fun. So I want to ask you, when is the last time that you just stop and think that you really had a belly laugh? You just laughed out loud. When is the last time that you did something fun? Okay. Yeah, just a belly laugh. Yeah, I sat up and said, I'm not till you show up. I just need peace. And he did. It was great. It was wonderful. So I'm going to try that. I did. I said, I'm going to sit here till you show up. And I appreciate that. Yeah, it's great. One of the things I like to do if I'm really stressed out, I'll take a bubble bath with Epsom salt, which helps with especially a lot of spirit communication. It kind of levels you off, brings you back. Not that they follow me here. I said, no, your people can go back with you, but that helps. It also helps with sore muscles and so forth. So I like that. I think I've mentioned before with champagne, but that's just a fun little thing I like to do. But look at the last time you had fun, the last time you worked on a fun project, or you started to look at the future in a bright way. I mean, guys, it's okay if you admit it was a year or a year and a half ago. It's okay. But just recognize that you need that. Okay. So, what did it look like when you felt like the future was bright? Well, you probably weren't under this much stress, which means you need to handle the stress intake. The other thing would be self-love. Do you give yourself enough self-love? Or do you give it to others? Or do you give it at all? Or are you just quiet and keep it in? So people are handling this in lots of different ways. And some of them are good and some of them are not really healthy for them or for other people. So just stop, acknowledge where you are, and just think, what's stopping you from your joy? You deserve that joy. God put us here. He didn't make a mistake. I don't care how miserable here was. He put us here because we have a purpose. And that purpose is to be love, give love, and receive love. And as Jesus tells me, be the love you were created to be, which is kind of heavy if you think about it. I'm like, okay, be the love you were created to be. We can all work on that. I know I can. So think about, what it is that's really stopping you, and spend your God time and realize that you are love. That if, Jesus has told me before, if you did no more thing except show people love and be the love that you were supposed to be, or right, then it's not the fancy degrees. It's not the, whether you're rich or poor. It's not that, or somewhere in between. It's not any of that. It's about how much love can you be to others. And I think a lot of it's just kindness, but we have to start with kindness with ourselves before we can go to the next gradient. We have to not feel drained, is like what Colleen was saying. Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah, the near-death experiences bring hope. I want to make a comment about that. Thanks for saying that. I have to say, yeah, I've met, and that's why I started interviewing, because I know so many, because I'm a near-death experiencer, and over the years I've known so many near-death experiencers. So that's why I wanted to have it on the channel. It's a personal passion of mine It's not because I think this is a popular topic. I don't even know if it's a popular topic. Actually, honestly, if you ask me, I would think not too long ago it might have been taboo, but it's a passion of mine and it's fascinating to me. And I feel like if enough people can tell their story, what the other side is like, now they're going to express it differently. They're going to use different words, right? That we'll get a better picture of what that is. With that said, just to kind of level out things, there are some people that, if you're human, anyone can have a near death experience, or a spiritually transformative experience, but be close to death or almost die or something traumatic. And really, the experience to me is filtered through that person. So if that person is mentally unstable, seriously, before they have it, that to them, all of a sudden they don't get clarity. It's like people that have had difficulty their whole life and they have issues their whole life and they pass, they don't all of a sudden become wise. They get help, but they don't become wise. So there is not everybody's wise that has a near death experience. Hopefully, there's some people that have had these that don't learn a thing. Don't know why. I've met a lot of people that see Jesus and they blow him off in heaven. Look, I was ready to ditch everybody for him. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm just telling you, it's really good stuff. There's no greater love. I mean, I felt it, and this it's just not human. It's hard to explain. It's just you can't do wrong. He's the first one to take up for everybody because he considers us all his children. But yeah, there is no greater love. So I don't know that. I can't answer that. I can't answer everything. I don't know and understand that. So you have to understand what people are being filtered through. There are some people that have had what they call hellish experiences, right? I heard one once when it was 4 years ago when I was at I was speaking. That's what it was. I was speaking. It was Orlando, Florida, at the International Association of Near-Death Studies, and I was speaking with Robert Scott Bell, who's an incredible person, but he's a syndicated radio host. He was so funny, and he was talking about and his was very funny. He choked on a Hitler mustache he was making it as a kid, and he's never told anyone his NDE, and it was a real one. He was talking about what happened, but I was trying not to laugh, sitting beside him, going, "You what?" He went. And I was like, I didn't want to laugh. I've never laughed at anyone's, but while I was there, I heard a hellish one. And it was like a 90-minute presentation. It was so awful. I was traumatized. I literally had PTSD from it. I used like 8 of her tissues beside of her. I was snorting and snotting. It was just awful. So I personally, elected to try to be positive. I've known people that go to a place what they call purgatory or whatever. I know what that is. Look, the Catholics know. Somewhat Presbyterian. My grandmother, would take me to church at times, but we didn't really talk about that. But I will tell you, it does come up in readings. It's not a place of punishment. It's a place where someone can say, "Look, let's re-examine things. Let's look at it." It's kind of a place where they get the person back on the page, especially if someone who's had like a really bad attitude in life. You can't go into the Jesus angelic realms, the God realms, the divinity realms with being like, God can kiss my ass. You're not going to go. We need to talk about some things first. So they need to, get some counseling. So I don't think necessarily purgatory is a bad thing. Sometimes it's just a corrective thing that needs to happen. So I really stopped looking at things of good and bad, but I just know, how does it make me feel? Does it make me feel inspired? Or does it inquisitive, inspiring, or does it make me really upset? So I just want to have people that are interesting and fascinating and nothing upsetting, because if they're trying to work through that, I don't want to have to work through it too. So that was sort of a personal choice. I love this. I'm trying to work on myself and love myself. Everybody needs to. It's everybody. It's everywhere. Yeah. Well, Colleen, you know what my mom says? She goes, she'd always say she was divorced for years. She goes, well, my husband I can trust is Jesus. So, I'm like, he's your friend, he's your so-and-so. I don't know you love him. So he's also a really good dating service. When the time is right, look, I feel like if you talk to him, he'll provide you the right person. But we're so hard-headed. We gotta, if we would just submit to our team God, our angels, our guides, or, the elders, all those over there, and just listen in, and we can even write down information that we get. I mean, it's going to be a lot better than what we do, unless we truly follow our heart, if we're willing to listen. But we need that divine connection, because that's who we really are, but we've forgotten that. So, and I don't think that people have to be alone. I just don't believe that. And even if you're alone, you don't have to be alone. You can have the peace of the Holy Spirit with you, which people have talked about that, even like in wartime, how they still felt at peace, even though all this is going on. So that's kind of where we want to go, because we're not really effective helping people if we're a basket case. Think about it. So this is something I wanted us to talk about. And then also, let me mention this. I've got some notes here. Tell me what you think about this. I wanted to also, yeah, he's your man. Yeah, I know. I always tell people, like, look, I'm not leaving. I love my husband. I'm not, the only man I leave before is Jesus, but it's pretty much so true. And he knows that. He goes, "It's a tall order. I can't compete with that." I'm like, "You don't have to." He brought him to me. So these are some topics I want to talk about. This, there is more to this. Okay. So we need to look at the situation we're in, be kind to ourselves, go, wow, we've gone through a lot. Look at other people. Maybe their reaction is not like ours. Maybe they are not handling it as well. I don't know. And cut them a little slack. It's called grace. Have grace with people and not be so judgmental. And pray for them, and be kind to ourselves, and get us to a place of joy and peace so we can think straight, right? The other thing is, I want to talk about at another time, building healthy boundaries for abundance, and how to handle invalidating and hostile people, and how to respond to that or not respond. So would that be something that you would be interested? Let me know. And then also another one is how to sparkle and how to find your happy place. Then I've also got lots of intuitive classes and things that I'm putting together, so you guys can learn to even get closer to listening to yourself, and what's God, and really honoring your own soul. The way I see it, your heart never lies. Your heart wants what your heart wants, but it's just finding, once you're in that place of peace, you can see it. That's why I can't do a reading upset. I'm like, whatever you do, do not have me around anyone upset me. That's why I have to kind of be just kind of, in a serene way, and just in a serene, open, receiving way. All right. Okay. Let's see what she's saying here. It was just really, yeah. It's funny. That's interesting. I've asked him that too. Not that exact question, but there's so many people, there's so-and-so, how do you keep, loving humanity? What do you do when people, when they disagree? What do you do with things? Look, here's the thing. There are some people this is a fallen world, just going to, but that's why we're here, to help improve it and to learn. This is like a playground. This is like lab class for humans. And we're all spiritual beings. We have a body right now. And you're still learning how to be human, and how to be here, and how to be, kind, and how to be able to have balance in our life. But there are some bad people here. Okay. And some, there's a gradient scale to that. Some are worse than others, and some are, you might call evil. I try not to focus on that. I don't go where those people are. If I sense something strange, even if I park somewhere, I don't stay there. I try to be attuned to that. Because I know they're also here too, but I keep my vibration and safety on God and the angels and what's in my best interest. And I try to surround myself with people that are like-minded in the same way, and it works. Does that mean that we're not going to ever meet a mean person? No, I wish that wasn't the case. So I don't know. I don't know those questions. I don't know. Somebody's being a joker here. I don't know how to answer that question. But I think that the big thing to end off on this, since we've gone through so much, and it's that time, because I wanted to do this an hour and 15 minutes and go through this, but we need to have love for ourselves and love for each other, and to be kind and be gracious. And, we should be able to allow our differences. More than that, we should be able to appreciate our differences. Jesus has shown me before a bouquet, and he showed me like all daisies. He said, wouldn't that be boring? He said, but if you had a Gerber daisy, a hot pink Gerber daisy, and then you had African violet, and then you had, and he started naming all these flowers in there, wouldn't it be so beautiful? I went, yeah. He goes, well, that's how I see my children. And that's how we should see each other, because we are all God's children. And we're going to have to all answer for, our kindness or our grace or our humility or lack of it. So I don't know. We're a work in progress. That's the good news. We're still all a work in progress. But look, I hope that you have enjoyed this. And I just wanted to give you encouragement to know we've been through some stuff. We're still going through it, but we are, whether we like it, we're one big family. Really, the whole world. We're one big family. And I see that all the time. I read people all over the world, from Peru to South Africa to New Zealand, Sydney. We're one big world, and we need to be able to love our brothers and sisters. So stay tuned for next time. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. And also, if you are interested or know someone that maybe is hurting or in pain that would like a free spiritual healing reading, I'm going to be doing that around the holidays. So go ahead. You can either you can send me an email, or the best thing is just to go on my website, southernbellemedium.com, and then just fill out my newsletter and say want a reading, and then you'll be on the live thing. So especially people that are really grieving and that need some support, or maybe they lost a child or a spouse, that would be, I just want to give back. So thank you so much. God bless you all. And I believe in us. Okay. And I see God in all of us. So take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe. Bye-bye.